Very good morning to you. It is 7 a.m. on Monday, October 27th, 2025. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. We will take calls at 888-658-0234. Sunshine today, mid-50s, straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the first check of the Garden State forecast.
Hey Ken, good morning to you. It's feeling like fall across New Jersey. A lovely way to start the day with clear sky now, starting off our Monday morning, getting back in the swing of things last Monday in October. And wouldn't you know, by looking at these temperatures of a 27-degree start up in Sussex, 28 in Morristown, 41 in Newark, there is a chill in the air. Yeah, a little bit of an extra cool spot there up in Sussex, where it's 16 degrees cooler than this time yesterday, letting you know that well, November is right around the corner. So we had mostly clear sky last night that allowed for a lot of that cool effect to take over. And with that, we'll start off this morning with nothing more than a light breeze. So not too much of a wind to make for a wind chill. That's why even through Long Branch and Toms River, temperatures hold just above the freezing mark there and will stay that way through this afternoon, warming only into the 50s. Breezes noticeable but light in generally speaking today, only on the order of say 15 to 20 miles per hour at most for a gust. It's Tuesday into Wednesday. You'll start to see those winds increase in advance of yet another nor'easter coming to New Jersey late Wednesday into Thursday, giving us some heavy rain and wind throughout the day on Thursday, but I think it clears out just in time for the trick-or-treaters on Halloween, so good news there. Look at all the clear sky throughout today. Temperatures warming mid-50s only. That's a few degrees below where we should be. Usually we make it to the mid-60s for the last week in October. We'll keep the clouds around into tomorrow, especially down south, and then throughout the night on Tuesday into early Wednesday morning, you see that cloud shield shift its way northward. This is as that nor'easter gets going. First with the very gusty winds out of the north and east throughout the day on Wednesday, and then by Thursday, that's when the rain gets going, and some of the rain could be quite heavy at times, looking at a total of maybe 3 to 5 inches somewhere in New Jersey. That's not statewide, but there should be this stripe that, or this band, if you will, that sets up across New Jersey by the afternoon on Thursday, giving us a little bit of that wet weather throughout the course of the day, and then ultimately clearing out by Friday morning. So the next few days featuring that cooler trend, dry today and tomorrow. Have to wait till Thursday for our next rain, and that's when the wind comes in as well with some gusty breezes by Friday. We'll tell you more about it coming up with a check of your weekend weather, Ken. That's in just a few minutes.
Very good, Mike. I thought we'd bring up some pictures from yesterday. I was out visiting our old friends
Oh,
uh,
looking forward
from
to this.
Channel 7. My dear TV wife of 15 years, almost 20 years, Lori Stokes. Look at this woman. She is, and she doesn't, it's no secret. She's 63 years old.
She
Look
doesn't
at it.
age.
No,
She doesn't
she looks
age.
like she's 30. She is stunning. And this is the four of us. Look at that. And that beautiful background. Bill Evans, handsome Bill Evans there on the left. He and his beautiful wife, Sandra, they own a radio station. Actually, they have two more coming on the air, but this is WLNG out in Sag Harbor, Long Island. Look at that background. Is that gorgeous? So
That's pretty.
Bill got a Lifetime Achievement Award by the New York State Association of Broadcasters. Long time coming. So we all celebrated. There were about 150, 200 people there from you name it. Bill Hemmer from Fox was there. He had our former general manager from the station was there. Of course, my dear friend Joe Nolan is to the rightmost part of the screen. It was an incredible time and just a beautiful day. But I thought I would share. And he says hello, by the way. He wants to see you. So we got to all plan lunch at some point, buddy.
That's so nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Very, very pretty out there on the
It's
East End.
gorgeous.
My first visit was over this past summer, and wow, it really I like to call it short hills on the lake, short hills on the water,
That's what it looks
right?
like. Yeah.
That's
It's
what it
stunning.
feels like.
And it's not overbuilt in Sag Harbor.
Mm-mm.
Nice and
Nope.
calm. It's beautiful.
Yep.
All right, buddy, we'll check back. I appreciate you as always. 34 degrees here in northern New Jersey, where I am, 37 in Trenton. And in terms of traffic, let's take a look at this mess right now. This is on the New Jersey Turnpike. We have a crash. Exit ramp to 278 and Goethals Bridge by interchange 13 in Elizabeth. Did I give you the right one? No, I gave you the wrong one. This is the crash on the Turnpike Eastern Spur northbound south of interchange 15W, which is 280 in Kearney. That's what that is, because you can see that's all the Kearney area there, Newark, not too far away. So all lanes are open, vehicles on the right shoulder, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about because they're over there flashing lights. Now we have the crash on the Turnpike by 278 Goethals Bridge. Interchange 13 in Elizabeth. All lanes are open. Vehicles on the right shoulder there as well. We have, there it is. Garden State Parkway crash, northbound south of 195 and Wall. All lanes are open. Hudson River crossings, 20 minutes at the Lincoln and Holland GWB right now, upper and lower levels. The lower level on the left is a little slower, I think, than the upper, kind of either way, but we're told 25 minutes into Manhattan. 7:05 is our time, and New York Attorney General Letitia James was indicted on federal bank fraud and making false statement charges tied to a 2020 Virginia home purchase. The indictment alleges she claimed the property was a primary residence to secure favorable mortgage terms. Then she treated it as a rental. Can't do that. James pleaded not guilty at her arraignment in Virginia and said the case is politically motivated.
But this is not about me. This is about all of us. And about a justice system which has been weaponized. A justice system which has been used as a tool of revenge.
Well, if it was weaponized and a tool of revenge, it may or may not be the case. Clearly, you, Ms. James, used your system as a tool of revenge against Trump. Not my accusation. You ran on it, Ms. James. You said the minute I get in, I'm going to make his life hell. I'm going to go after him. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. That you said you were going to go after him day and night, sue him basically into oblivion. So you campaigned on the fact that you were going to take what is New York State taxpayers, not your office. You think it is. It belongs to the state taxpayers of New York. And you're treating it like your own thing. And you went after, you literally trumped up charges against Trump. And now you're pissed that he's using contracts that you actually signed as a lawyer. And you signed saying that allegedly that this was a primary residence when it couldn't be, because in order to run for Attorney General of New York, you have to make New York your primary residence, not Virginia. And it's in writing. And you're saying it's political revenge. Notice she never denies the charges. Interesting. If convicted, James could face substantial prison time and fines up to 20 years in prison per charge. The trial is still months away. The case underscores how high-profile public officials are under increasing scrutiny over lots of stuff. So listen, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house, you politicians. You can thank the Democrats for that when they decided to open up that can of worms against President Trump. And then saying nobody's above the law. Well, Madam James, nobody is above the law. The U.S. military blew up another drug trafficking fast boat over the weekend. It's the 10th in recent weeks. This time, the 6 narco drug traffickers who were on it were members of the Venezuelan designated terrorist organization Tren de Aragua. All 6 were killed in the explosion. The campaign has resulted in dozens of deaths since September and has helped reduce the amount of fentanyl coming into the U.S. by 53%. The NBA confirmed coach Chauncey Billups and guard Terry Rozier have been placed on immediate leave after federal indictments in a sweeping gambling and fraud probe. Prosecutors allege Rozier tipped off people in advance that he was going to be leaving games early, saying that he was sick, giving them an edge when they placed bets on the game. While Billups, though, is tied to a separate rigged poker game scheme. The scandal has been called the insider trading saga for the NBA. The league says integrity of the game is its top priority and investigations are ongoing. Meanwhile, the sports host Stephen A. Smith, brilliant man, suggested that President Trump went after the NBA for political and racial reasons, something that FBI Director Kash Patel vehemently denies, saying the investigation actually began back in 2023, even before he became the director of the FBI under President Biden. It began by investigating the mafia. And while they did that, that led to the NBA. So this was not retribution of some sort against the NBA, allegedly because they donated to Kamala Harris. So no, that's not the case. The White House released a donor list for the 90,000 square foot ballroom now being built on the land that occupied the East Wing. The construction is being funded entirely by private donations. The estimated cost is just over $300 million, and donors include major tech, defense, and finance firms such as Apple, Google, Amazon, and Lockheed Martin. These are all corporations that donated heavily to Democrats over the last few years. But many of left-wing media outlets will have you think that the donations somehow spur questions over influence and ethics. Meanwhile, the same media organizations like this, we have CNN, so you can see on your screen right there. CNN happily reported when President Obama destroyed the White House tennis courts in order to put in a basketball court solely for his own fun because he liked playing basketball. I mean, President Trump doesn't like going to ballrooms. It's to entertain foreign dignitaries, and it's for future presidents to use. But when CNN did the report on President Obama's construction, it was gleeful. It was, look, he's taking care of the people's house. He's spending money. Well, the money he was spending was over $500 million of your taxpayer money, which is fine. It's fine. But it's about the duopoly or the dichotomy of the way things were treated under Obama. Obama good, Orange Man bad. So because President Obama decided to build a basketball court and redo the presidential quarters, it was good. But because President Trump wants to put in a ballroom for future generations to enjoy, that's somehow bad. Well, this is something you have to deal with. This is basically a dichotomy that you can't accept. It's one or the other, and don't be a hypocrite. 7-Eleven as the Schumer Democrat government shutdown stretches on. Today's day 26. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers will miss their first full paycheck this Friday. Many federal workers have already received only partial paychecks, omitting days after the October 1st funding lapse. Non-essential workers remain furloughed. Millions deemed exempted continue to work without pay. Credit unions and relief funds are stepping in, but stress is mounting, of course, for workers with mortgages, bills, and families. All it'll take, though, to end the shutdown is for a few Democrats in the Senate to break the stalemate. They're the ones holding it up. Actress June Lockhart has died. She was 100. Word is she passed away past midnight Eastern time on Friday. It was due to natural causes. Her family was by her side. You'll recall she starred in Lost in Space, and she was one of the last of the golden age of Hollywood. Imagine that. She lived to be 100 years old. June Lockhart. She was Mrs. Robinson. Remember Mrs. Robinson on Lost in Space? May she rest in peace. She was also just in so many. There's Lost in Space on the bottom there. And Lassie, she was in Lassie. She starred. Amazing. It is currently 39 degrees, mostly sunny today, highs mid-50s, and we're taking your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. It's a Monday. You are watching On New Jersey Mornings. Ken Rosato here. We'll be back with me and Mike Favetta in just a couple of moments. Again, beautiful sunshine today, but you're going to need that jacket. We'll be back in just 2 minutes. Don't go away.
I'm Jack Chittarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
Bergen Equestrian in Leonia is the top destination for horse riding, lessons, and exceptional horse boarding facilities on over 23 acres in Overpeck Park. Bergen Equestrian has programs for people of all ages and skill sets, indoor and outdoor riding areas, and a riding lounge. Riders can compete in horse shows and special events. Bergen Equestrian offers horse boarding and rentals, seasonal kids camps, and more. Consider Bergen Equestrian for unforgettable memories with kids' birthday parties, private events, weddings, and school trips. Visit BergenEquestrian.com.
We vote to protect the Social Security we worked hard for. We vote because family caregivers deserve support. We vote to have a say in our future. For all the reasons why, AARP has information about when, where, and how to vote. Find the information you need to make your voice heard.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. It's Monday. I'm Ken Rosato, 7:15, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Sun today, mid-50s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the Garden State forecast. Good morning, sir.
A frosty one at that. Good morning to you, Ken. And this is the weather that tends to kind of end the peak color of our fall foliage. So we'll talk more about the fall foliage in New Jersey, how some areas are still in peak season, but not for long, especially when you have the frost advisory that goes right down toward the coast, even down to Cape May, and that lasts through 9 o'clock this morning. So we have a little bit of frost this morning, waking up across New Jersey after a clear and calm night. That allows for this phenomenon known as radiational cooling, where all of the heat from yesterday gets to escape back into space and make it feel really chilly early this morning. Well, with that, we get a lot of sunshine throughout this afternoon, warming only into the mid 50s. That's about 5, 6 degrees cooler than where we should be. So it'll feel very pleasant later today in the sunshine. But then, of course, we have more clouds on the way by late tomorrow into Wednesday. So we're nice and clear right now. High pressure doing its job, keeping all the clouds away. But this weather is what eventually turns into our nor'easter by the time we get to Wednesday night into Thursday, making it feel very, very windy and, of course, very wet. A lot of rain expected. So enjoy the dry weather for today and tomorrow. It'll feel quite dry, even with those dew points nice and low. And then you see these dew points start to rise back into the 50s and go a little bit higher, even 60s by Atlantic City and Cape May. That's an indication that there's a lot of moisture in the air that's coming in. And it clears out. Again, we'll talk about that nor'easter in a bit by the time we get to this weekend. So good news for trick-or-treating for Friday night. Great news for the marathon on Sunday. And then I think we'll hold off for any showers until later on into Monday and Tuesday. There could be a few sprinkles around on Sunday, but at least no significant rainfall. So the weekend's looking pretty good. 59 degrees both days, mostly sunny skies on Saturday, maybe some extra clouds by Sunday with our high of 59, but overall a very pleasant and seasonable feel, because we'll take seasonable going into the first few days of November. We get the extra hour of sleep this weekend. That'll be nice. So a little bit of extra time to enjoy the earlier sunrises and the later earlier sunrises and earlier sunsets by Sunday, because the sun's going to set by just before 5 p.m. on Sunday evening.
There you go.
Yep.
See, you know what? I keep thinking ahead that here it's going to be almost November, that we only have, let's see, 4 weeks in November and then 4 weeks in December before everything starts turning around.
That's
So
right.
it's just like 8.5 weeks from now, the days
Maybe so.
start getting longer. When I think of that, I get happy. See happy face? Happy. We should let everybody know, we're gonna be showing some beautiful fall foliage in a little bit and talking
Yes, we
about
are.
that. So, all right. When we used to live in North Caldwell, it was magnificent. The
Yes.
foliage in that
Yep.
community, that borough was just beautiful. But there are New Jersey, it's called the Garden State for a reason. It's
That's
not
right.
the image when you get off the through the Lincoln Tunnel on The Sopranos. That's what everybody thinks Jersey is. But that much of Jersey. It is a
But those
beautiful
watching this
place.
program know, especially I would take the detour through Essex Fells to drop my sister off at school
Uh,
on my way to school for high school. And yeah, the foliage is just stunning. Stunning.
You just made my day. You said Essex Fells. That's it. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. We could all dream of living in Essex Fells someday.
Oh, yes.
But what a beautiful place. For those who from the New York area, Essex Fells is the Scarsdale of New Jersey, sort of. It's sort of very exclusive, but very, and no one talks like this. This is more Scarsdale. All right, sir, we will check back. I appreciate it. We'll look forward to doing the foliage bit. It is 7:19 right now. We have some issues on the Garden State Parkway. There is a crash northbound south of 195 in Wall. Take a look at the brake checking right now, as you can see, and that is causing that. All lanes are open. It is just a bunch of people rubbernecking. Maybe that vehicle is going to take care of it right now, it looks like. We have a crash on the Turnpike, express lanes northbound at 71, which is Broad Avenue, Leonia. All lanes are open. Vehicles are on the right shoulder there. And exit ramp 278 on the Turnpike by the Goethals Bridge. There's another crash by interchange 13 in Elizabeth. All lanes open. Again, vehicles on the right shoulder. Staying on the Turnpike, a crash investigation and police activity at the inner roadway of the Turnpike southbound, north of interchange 8A. So this is going down. This is maybe about 6, 7 miles from Great Adventure. And this is in South Brunswick. All lanes are now blocked. And finally, a water main break in both directions. Route 53 is closed, and that's by Route 46. New Jersey's Route 53 by 46 in Denville, all lanes closed. Oh, another crash on the Garden State. Vehicle spun out. And this is, of course, it just updated. Sorry, folks. This is by, come on, stop updating on me. Exit 74. So the exit 74 thing we reported was a vehicle spin out. That's what they're telling us. Take a look at the Hudson River crossings right now. Upper and lower levels of the GWB are kind of slow. We're told 35 minutes in now. Both upper and lower. Upper on the right, you can see it's basically stopped. Lower on the left, moving very slowly. It'll take you about 35 to 40 minutes to get into Manhattan. Right now in the GWB Hudson River crossings, the Lincoln and Holland are now costing you about 25 in. 721 flight delays are being reported in parts of the country as the shutdown hits the staffing of the FAA's air traffic control workforce and the TSA, too. Many controllers designated as essential workers must work without pay, leading to mounting absences and sick calls, forcing reduced flight capacity. Some airports are already tweaking schedules and limiting flights in the name of safety. The Social Security Administration announced a 2.8% cost of living increase by 2026 or for 2026. Raising monthly benefits for folks about $56 on average for 75 million Americans. It's slightly higher than last year's 2.5% bump. Commissioner Frank Bisignano called the boost a promise kept, ensuring benefits matching today's economic realities. I believe we have a graphic for that, Pam, that shows the increase. The Social Security Administration will also raise the maximum taxable earnings cap from $176,100 to $184,500. Recipients will start getting their updated benefit letters in December. For retirees and fixed income households, it is a modest but welcome relief. Volunteers showed up early in Colts Neck Saturday morning as early voting got underway in New Jersey this weekend. This gives residents days to cast their ballots ahead of Election Day. Voters can head to any of the state's 254 early voting locations through this Sunday, November 2nd. Polls are open 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. weekdays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. weekends. Election officials are urging voters to double check their county's locations. It could have changed since last year, so double check. New Jersey does not require identification to vote. In fact, they can't ask for it by law, which is ridiculous, Democrats. Why would you not want to double check who somebody is? Oh, because minorities can't get their hands on ID, which is bull crap. Every time somebody who is of color is polled, they look at you like, are you out of your mind? Remember, you give birth to a child, identification. You want to buy a cell phone, identification. You register in a school, identification. Everybody has identification. Don't give me your crap. The only reason you would not want to have somebody present ID is because if you want to cheat. That's it. They don't want to purge the voter rolls of dead people. They don't want to make you prove who you are. The only time they can ask you for ID is if you registered for the first time and you have never previously shown your social security card or your driver's license, then you must bring it. Otherwise, if you have voted before, New Jersey by law, like all the liberal blue states, New York, etc., it's only the liberal blue states. They're like, oh, come on in and vote. Do you know that Eric Holder, the former Attorney General of the United States, went to vote in New York a few years ago, and somebody had already voted saying they were him, and there was nothing they could do? That's what happens when you are in a liberal state. Just letting you know. There's nothing. Florida, for 100 years, 150 years, they have a voter ID. You show it when you come in. Florida has plenty of people of color. In fact, probably have 45% of the population. Nobody complains. It's all good. Everybody votes. 724, the Justice Department says it's deploying federal election monitors, in fact, to make sure there's no cheating in New Jersey because of some suspicious activity, shall we say. Compliance must be kept to keep people believing in the voting system, Democrats. Officials say the monitors will be on site in a number of counties to watch for voter intimidation, accessibility issues, or discrimination. This year's effort is part of the DOJ's larger Election Day Integrity Program. While federal monitors have been used many decades, some state officials have pushed back, calling the move unnecessary. Andy Kim, Senator Kim, is saying it's ridiculous and unnecessary. Really, Kim? You leftist? Kim is the most, anyone who thought he was moderate, you're nuts. Kim is basically a communist. And I invite him on the show any day. I'll debate him. Every topic right down the line. He is as far left as they come with that little quiet face, driving his children in the car during his commercial. He is a leftist, tried and true. So just to let him know and to let you know why. This is because Republicans in Passaic County asked for federal monitors since the head of the Passaic County Democrat Party, who is also the head, get this, of the Passaic County Board of Elections. Oh, there's nothing there that could be a problem. He decided to remove any cameras from near where mail-in ballots are stored and to remove the sign-in logbook that would allow access to those ballots. So why would you want to do that unless the intention was to cheat? I'm not saying that they're going to cheat, but you figure it out. Everywhere else it's allowed, but no, I'm not going to have that here. Yeah, maybe it's because Passaic County went for President Trump and the Democrats are really pissed off there now. So now they're going to remove the cameras so you can't see if anybody does some funny business with your mail-in ballots. Yeah, that's why we have election monitors, and that's why they need to be there. 726 tragedy on the New Jersey Turnpike. A 32-year-old Matawan man was killed early Thursday in a crash near exit 120 in Middlesex County. State police say the truck veered off the road and struck a guardrail and then caught fire. First responders got to the scene, but the driver was pronounced dead. Investigators are looking into what caused the crash. The turnpike's northbound lanes were shut down for a while during the morning commute. And environmental groups are suing federal regulators over plans to build a liquefied natural gas export terminal along the Delaware River in South Jersey. The facility is proposed near Gibbstown. It would give LNA shipping access, something that opponents say threatens safety and climate goals, but it really has never done so. The suit claims the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission failed to conduct a full environmental impact review, and supporters argue the project brings jobs and energy to the region. The Bruce Springsteen biopic Deliver Me From Nowhere has given New Jersey's film industry a big punch, according to the state's Motion Picture and Television Commission. The production spent $42 million during the shoot. 14 towns statewide benefited. It's what we need. We had the head of that commission on last week. It's essential that we have it. And by the way, a new Rutgers-Eagleton poll finds more than half of New Jersey voters say the state is headed in the wrong direction. Guess what? Democrats run everything. So when you go to vote, think about that before you say, oh, my parents and grandparents voted Democrats. I will. If you want change, you got to vote differently. Coming up on 728, you're watching On New Jersey Mornings on your sunny but chilly Monday. We'll be right back.
I'm Jack Chittarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
We vote to protect the Social Security we worked hard for. We vote because family caregivers deserve support. We vote to have a say in our future. For all the reasons why, AARP has information about when, where, and how to vote. Find the information you need to make your voice heard.
And a very good morning to you. It is a chilly 36 degrees right now, 7:30 straight up, Monday, October 27th, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Morning Sunshine today, highs mid-50s. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. Mike, I don't know if you saw the election results in Argentina. Part of my family's
I did
there
not.
yesterday. So Milei, Mr. Wonderful Hair, Javier Milei, the Trump of Argentina, apparently he won in a landslide yesterday. So it
Oh,
was,
wow.
yeah, there were predictions that it was going to be neck and neck, neck and neck. It was a
Hmm.
landslide. In fact, he ended up taking up more of their parliament seats and everything for his party. The Peronistas, the Peron, don't cry for me, Argentina, they
Sure.
lost a big chunk, and they were
Oh my
more
goodness.
socialist. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I think right now Argentina is starting to see like an economic revival, whether it was directly because of Malay or not, whatever, but he's there to reap the rewards. So you'll see the guy with the golden hair around from Argentina for a while. Anyway, I'm sorry, sir. Had to pass it
No,
on. Thought it was funny.
hey, that's exciting news. We've got some exciting news here in New Jersey because as we look forward to some fall foliage, I want to show you where the foliage is brightest right now and most vibrant, and it is in the northeastern corner of the state. Now, where you see these brown leaves up toward northern Sussex and even western Passaic, yes, there is a little bit of a past peak. You've missed most of that foliage, especially if you're headed up 287, way up past Oakland and that exit. Most of that foliage is gone. But down toward Monmouth and Ocean County, still some color appearing, and you have to look at the tree types to really get to see what type of color is best. So we'll break it down for you. We'll give you an idea of what it takes to make for some pretty colors here in New Jersey. It's all about the chlorophyll that is delivering the food and the source of energy for the plant through sunlight, through carbon dioxide, the whole photosynthesis process. But as the summer season winds down and we get into fall, the sun angle lowers. This stops that chlorophyll from producing and allows for these other colors to turn. And as that happens, you get these cells at the base of the leaf that stop carrying the fluids and stop the food process. And so these beautiful colors start to appear. And that's what's happening with the sugar trapped in the leaves, allowing for those pigments to show through. And you get these beautiful shades of orange and red. We'll talk more about the types of trees that show the best colors, something I learned about at the New York Botanical Gardens when I worked in the Bronx, some really fascinating science behind it. That coming up in just a bit when Ken joins me in just a sec. But as far as today's weather, you still have some beautiful weather to enjoy the foliage. And I would head out at least by Wednesday, because come Wednesday night, we get some ripping winds of 50 miles an hour that come through these areas. So probably not many leaves left, or trees for that matter, as I'm sure there'll be some trees down by the end of the week as that nor'easter pulls through. 62 degrees today, that's our average, so we're right around where we should be, but again, a little bit cooler going into the rest of the week as mostly sunny skies take over across New Jersey to start our day. It looks pretty right now with nothing more than a light breeze, but down in the Caribbean, we saw this system explode from a tropical storm to a Cat 5 hurricane in just a matter of hours. Another example, the fourth example this year of rapid intensification, now packing 160-mile-per-hour winds. So that is a serious Cat 5 and expected to move across Jamaica and Cuba over the next 2 days before it goes out into the open Atlantic. So not only a lot of wind, but long duration wind because it's a very slow moving system. And of course, the very heavy rains, more than 2 feet of rain expected across some parts of Jamaica. Really, really serious storm. So our forecast for the winds and temperatures over the next few days feature a calm start today. It'll be calm tomorrow, but then when we get to Wednesday, you start to see these winds increase. They see the little arrows here go a little faster. That's the northeasterly wind, indicative of a nor'easter that will start to bring in some gusts by the afternoon. Some light showers take over with the clouds, and then some very heavy rain gets going by Thursday into Friday. So most of that rain coming in for Thursday, but it's kind of held back by that high pressure until we get to the middle of the week. There's the storm going by, developing offshore, working up the coast, and as it does so, gives us quite a bit of rain and wind throughout the day on Thursday. I think Thursday is the rainiest day of this week, and then when it all pulls away, we start to clear out by the end of the week. Friday, still breezy, but trick-or-treating should be okay because the rain should be done by then. This is mostly a morning shower that takes over. It's still in the 50s, so it's still chilly. Saturday is dry, breezy, and then Sunday should start off sunny but likely turn cloudy by the afternoon and maybe have a few nuisance sprinkles for those runners running the New York City Marathon. The short points, I think you'll see the most impact here. A lot more chances of rain going into Thursday, especially. Still the wettest day of the week for you. Early morning showers on Friday, clearing by the afternoon, and then Saturday and Sunday also turning drier. So if you're wondering, well, what tree is the best to see the brilliant reds? You have to go for the high sugar content trees. And what tree gives us maple syrup, but the maple tree, the sweet stuff? So it's the red maples and the sugar maples that produce those vibrant shades of red and orange red. And there are some other trees that produce those yellows, like aspens. Dogwoods produce a purplish red. So depending on the tree variety, really depends on what kind of color you'll see. During the summer season, you get these shades, obviously, of green to brown, and then these really pretty colors here, the shades of red, the purple. That happens in the fall as those anthocyanins come through, another technical term for you, starting off our day. With the type of weather that influences how the trees make their sugars, it all depends on if it's too wet or if it's too dry. So, for instance, we've had a very dry end of summer and early fall. So we're kind of on the delayed spectrum of when we'll see the brightest shades of colors. And that's why through the end of October, we're starting to enter the peak season. If it were a little bit wet, we would have an on-time foliage peak, and that usually happens toward the middle of October. So we're a little bit delayed because of the drought. And it's also been a little bit warmer than average, so the colors are not as vibrant as they usually are. Warmer temperatures tend to mute those colors, whereas cooler temperatures in those really chilly nights that are above freezing, that's important, has to be above the 32-degree mark. But a cooler, crisp night allows for those vibrant colors to appear. So a lot of science, Ken, going into all of the foliage here across New Jersey, as there's a lot of weather variables, Ken, that play into effect when we look at foliage in New Jersey.
Great. Listen, we're going to talk about this. I want to talk about the peak colors. In fact, I want people to call in, no matter where they are, at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. We're streaming on Instagram Live and Facebook Live as well. And so I'm hoping they call in and let us know what the foliage is like in their part of New Jersey or anywhere in the tri-state. We have people, I see people right now calling from Long Island, or who's streaming from Long Island and New York. Want to hear where you think the best foliage is right now. If maybe you were upstate this weekend and you saw something magnificent, let's hear about it. But we're going to do a quick traffic hit and then we'll be back.
Okay.
So don't go away, Mike. All right, we're going to
Okay.
talk about it. So right now we have a mess, a crash on US 1 in both directions south of Route 531 Main Street in Edison. The left lane is closed. Also, we have another crash on US 1. No, we don't. That is just a more extensive detail about that. We have 2 left lanes of 3 lanes closed on US 1. 295 right now. We have a crash reported northbound, exit 47. That's Route 541, Burlington, Mount Holly Road in Burlington. The left lane of 3 lanes and the right shoulder are closed. Let's keep that camera shot up because there's another crash not far from there. This is 295 northbound south of exit 47. Burlington Township, rather, with the left shoulder closed. On the New Jersey Turnpike, express lanes northbound by 71 Route 4. Broad Avenue and Leonia, all lanes are open. Vehicles are on the right shoulder. That's causing a bit of a mess. And a crash investigation now on the Turnpike inner roadway, southbound north of interchange 8A in South Brunswick Township, all lanes blocked. Water main break, Route 53 by Route 46 in Denville. And then our approaches to the Hudson River, Lincoln and Holland are both now reporting actually 30 minutes at the Holland's 35 at the Lincoln. GWB upper and lower levels, a mess. It's going to cost you 40 minutes now on the lower level. You see on the left side of your screen, and 45 on the upper. 7:39, and a new travel survey crowns High Point Monument in Sussex County as New Jersey's most breathtaking fall foliage spot. More than 3,000 travelers ranked the Garden State's best autumn vistas, with Ramapo Mountain Overlook and Watchung Reservation rounding out the top 3. Respondents praised High Point's 220-foot tower and sweeping views of 3 states in peak color. Ramapo offers a quieter lakeside setting, while Watchung mixes forest and skyline views for perfect sunrise photos. A survey by Exotica Travel highlights how fall colors boost local tourism across the state. Absolutely, because listen, my husband and I, we've traveled. We go upstate New York. We have friends up in Hudson, New York. We've gone up there. You just have to go at peak season, and there are different peak seasons or peak weeks depending on where you are in the tri-state. So let us go back to the wonderful and handsome meteorologist Mike Favetta. He was talking all about the fall foliage. Mike, so you have with your map there the peaks, right, where we're just coming in and where we're past peak, et cetera. So what's it looking like? Where are the best places if I want to go somewhere this week or this weekend?
So I would say down the shore, right? Because you
Really?
have the the warmer, the milder effect of the Atlantic Ocean that delays some of that foliage peak. Just like I mentioned before, the warmer weather, which is typical this time of year down the shore, tends to delay the peak, and that's exactly what you see here on the maps, especially down toward Cumberland County, down over toward Bridgeton and Gloucester County. You have all these areas here that are not in peak just yet because it's a little
Hmm.
bit milder there down along the Delaware Bay and the Atlantic. However, if you head up toward High Point, forget it. You missed your peak. That was about 2.5 weeks ago because you have those chillier, frozen, frosty nights that allow and for all of that peak color to kind of kills off the peak color and gives it has that happen earlier in the season. However, if you head a little further west on Route 78 or Route 80 up toward 287, south of the Oakland exit where it goes splits into 206, you have a pretty decent amount of color there. So there are some areas still left in New Jersey, but this is kind of the season, Ken, where you transition to the wine tasting season. Because if you combine the New Jersey Wine Trail down toward Hunterdon County and down toward Mercer County with your foliage expedition, you see all the colors. So that's a nice way to enjoy a little bit of fall in New Jersey too.
I was going to say, in the middle of summer, you'll see colors if you go on the white trail. I mean, just make sure you have somebody driving you. That's all. That
Yeah.
sounds amazing. New Jersey, again, we talked about it before. I don't want to be Pollyannish, but it is truly a beautiful place with just explore. Go on some of the back roads, and you'll just have a wonderful time. All right, Mike, we'll check back a little bit. Thank you, sir. It is now 34 degrees in northern New Jersey. When we come back, their generations-old family farm was almost stolen from them by eminent domain, but gubernatorial candidate Jack Ciattarelli stepped in. We'll tell you all about it. Again, sunshine today, highs mid-50s. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings right here at ONNJ.com. We're coming right back. Don't go away.
I'm Jack Ciattarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
We vote to protect the Social Security we worked hard for. We vote because family caregivers deserve support. We vote to have a say in our future. For all the reasons why, AARP has information about when, where, and how to vote. Find the information you need to make your voice heard.
Bergen Equestrian in Leonia is the top destination for horse riding, lessons, and exceptional horse boarding facilities on over 23 acres in Overpeck Park. Bergen Equestrian has programs for people of all ages and skill sets, indoor and outdoor riding areas, and a riding lounge. Riders can compete in horse shows and special events. Bergen Equestrian offers horse boarding and rentals, seasonal kids camps, and more. Consider Bergen Equestrian for unforgettable memories with kids' birthday parties, private events, weddings, and school trips. Visit BergenEquestrian.com.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 745, now 36 degrees, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Lots of sunshine today. Beautiful fall day with highs in the mid-50s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Yes, still have to water the plants if they're outside. A lot of mums popping up across New Jersey if they haven't been affected by the hard freeze. Mums can survive a frost. That's why they're called hardy mums, right? But with the drought that's still occurring in northern New Jersey, that orange shade showing a severe drought for northern sections of Morris County, north of Route 80 into Sussex County. The rest of the state, north and west of the Turnpike, still unusually dry. The moderate drought continues for you, and then down the shore, a little bit of an above average rainfall over the last few days. I think all of this will begin to change when we get to Thursday with that steady rain that comes in with our nor'easter. So we still have that 1 to 2 inch rainfall deficit, but with the up to 3 to 5 inches of rainfall that's forecast by the end of the day on Thursday, we could certainly put a dent in that. Temperatures today climbing into the mid 50s, so cool, but feels more pleasant in the sunshine. And we'll have a fair amount of sun today. 53 is your high in West Milford, 55 in Newton. That's a little bit cooler than average, and that's the trend going into the first week of November. Slightly cooler than average weather that takes over into the beginning of the month. Once we get into the end of the month, you see these temperatures here start to warm up down south, but our forecast, while it's dry for the rest of the country, looks to be a little wetter going forward, at least for the first part of November. The 7-day forecast shows quite a bit of wet weather on tap for Thursday into Friday. This is when the bulk of our rain falls with the nor'easter, clearing out by Friday afternoon, and then Saturday and Sunday starts to clear out as well. Maybe have a few showers around by the end of the day on Sunday for the runners, for the marathon. A bigger impact at the shore. That's why you see all the rain here for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's a lot of rain down the shore, not necessarily needed there since you're already above the average for the year. But I think by Saturday and Sunday, we'll start to see a drier trend with cooler weather, Ken. That is the key. Cooler, drier weather once we get to this weekend.
All right, very good, sir. Appreciate that. In fact, this weekend, I'm going to be one of the reporters for WOR Radio along the scene, the route of the TCS New York City Marathon. So you could tune in on 710 WOR Radio, and I'm going to be streaming a lot of it on the social media thing, the
Social media.
social media. So we hope you tune in. It's going to be fun. In terms of the world of running, I'm what they call an avid watcher. So
Yes, the best. Got your
I
cowbell,
get,
ring that.
yep.
Yeah,
That's how I get my exercise. I burn the calories doing the cowbell. So that's as they come around the bend, that's when we hit
sitting
the
there with the
cowbell. Get them
coffee.
motivated.
Yeah.
That's it. And have the latte with extra heavy cream, babe. All right. So we'll check back, Mike. Thank you very much. 37 degrees right now, northern New Jersey, 39 in Trenton. It's 39 degrees in Cape May and 40 in Vineland. In terms of traffic, let's go over to US 1. It was heavier a moment ago, of course, but there's a crash reported US 1 south of 531 Main Street in Edison Township. It's hard to see with the bug there, but it's off to the left. You see the headlights coming towards you. It's just causing a little bit of volume, a little bit of a slowdown. We also have a crash on 295 northbound, exit 47, Burlington, Mount Holly Road in Burlington Township with the left lane closed. Garden State Parkway has a crash, local lanes northbound, north of exit 116 by the PNC Art Center in Holmdel. All lanes are open. And we have a crash on the Turnpike, express lanes northbound by 71, Route 4, Broad Avenue. And that is in Leonia. Also on the Turnpike Inner Roadway southbound north of interchange 8A, Route 32, South Brunswick. All lanes are blocked with a crash investigation and a water main break, Route 53, both directions at Route 46 in Denville. All lanes are currently closed. Your Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland, reporting 25 minutes. GWB upper and lower been a mess this morning, both very heavy. The upper level is what you see on the right. The lower level is on the left. Oh, they're just moving the camera on us, but that gives us an idea of what we have. So now that's the lower level. You can see the lower level, very, very slow making your way into Manhattan. But we're told 40 minutes in upper or lower levels. 749. And the Henry family in Cranberry, New Jersey, has won a hard-fought battle to save their 175-year-old family farm from eminent domain. We've talked about this before many times. We've had them on the show twice. After a state-mandated affordable housing plan threatened to seize half their land, a rule change and widespread support helped preserve their historic property. Joining us now are Andy Henry, co-owner and manager of the Henry Family Farm, and former Cranberry Mayor Jay Taylor to discuss the victory and its broader implications. I want to welcome both of you. Good to have you on, and congratulations. First off, it's great that this is the result. Did you think it was going to end up this way?
Well, I think it was going in that direction, and one thing in our favor was that selection of our property for housing was a terrible place, and Cranberry just did it anyway. So that helped us a lot, and of course the publicity and the support from everybody we've gotten over these last months.
Yeah. Well, this has brought up such a much bigger argument for people, and that is that the whole idea of towns taking over eminent domain, but more importantly, the idea of imposing low income or affordable housing into different communities to sort of, and you know what this is? This is a game on the left to level the playing field. It's a comeuppance. How dare you think you could have your exclusive wealthy areas? We're going to shove, in some cases, low income housing right in the middle of those $4 million houses to stick it right up your backside. I'm sorry to be so crass, but that literally is what this is. Former mayor there, I see the smile on your face because that's exactly what the left is doing. It's a little game they play. And this is why, look, there's no doubt we need moderate, affordable housing. Yes, we do. But it should be organically placed where it spots up, et cetera. Let it happen, because if everybody can live anywhere they want, then what's the incentive to work hard to afford to move your family to a nicer neighborhood? If every neighborhood's the same, we have the old Soviet Union. Just saying. So now this I should ask you, Jay, where was this because of? I know Jack Ciattarelli talked to the two different cabinet secretaries about this. What do you think ultimately led to this?
I think the end of the day, it was a bipartisan effort. I think what led to it was the fact that our township committee just did such an egregious act by trying to isolate these people out in the middle of a warehouse district. I mean, these are people that we every day are saying we want people to try and get their families better. These are people that have jobs, they just have low income, moderate income. They're trying to do better for their families. And here we are as a town not recognizing that and sticking them in the middle of a warehouse district. Did you know that most of those people are minority families? And we're sitting here segregating them and 2 miles away from the rest of our community when everybody should be inclusive? I mean, it's just egregious. And I think that's why you got the bipartisan support. I think that's why Rollins and Secretary Turner and Governor Murphy all saw this and said, what the heck is Cranberry doing?
I love Jay. I love, if I may call you Jay, I love the fact that
Yes.
there was radio silence from Governor Murphy, radio silence when it was all about, because it was him and his party that signed this law in, right? So they're the ones that shoved not eminent domain, but the affordable housing into every community. There's a law that now every damn community has to follow. It was them who did it, not the Republicans. So they stick this up everybody's backside, whether you like it or not. But funny how that town has drifted to the left. And as it's drifted to the left, and the wealthier houses owned by the wealthier Democrats, we are not going to put the moderate income housing, low income housing in their neighborhood. No, let's take the guy who looks like he's probably more Republican. Let's shove it on his farm and take it away. Come on, this stunk to high heaven. We all see right through the BS. This is BS, and we all know exactly what it is. And I know, Andy, you've been very apolitical because you're a respectful gentleman. So I'm not trying to drag you into my political world, but it is so blatant and unfair to anybody who sees this. So I'm so glad that we were able. And now Governor Murphy, of course, is running to your side. Yeah, I was happy that this happened. Where were you, Governor Murphy, when you signed this law in several years ago? I'd love to know where you were then. But Andy, for those who don't realize, your family has owned this farm since 1850. You got through the Great Depression, the house fire, not that you did personally, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
So what does it mean for you to save this legacy? You could pass it on and have this in your family.
Yeah, that's you know, that's incredible because my parents wanted to keep it. My mom especially, they refused to move to Arizona because she was worried about the farm. Even though they got older, she wasn't going to move to Arizona and get away from the New Jersey winters because the farm was so important to her. And she's passed on that legacy to my brother and I. and we just want to keep it. And one statistic I found when we were working with Secretary Rollins was we are losing in America between 2,000 and 5,000 acres of farmland every day. And, this was just a little piece of that, but I'm so glad we were able to save it.
What gets me? The party that is supposed to be the party of the environment, the party of green, they're the ones who are like, tear down this farm and build up, ugly moderate income or low income housing. That's what, and keep people of color 2 miles away from the rest of us white folk in the nicer parts of Cranberry. Come on, give me a break. It is so blatantly hypocritical. We're down to about 2 minutes of time left. I have to ask you, what are you going to do moving forward? Because they're just going to find someplace else. This is what the Democrats in New Jersey have done. And just for those who don't realize, because we now have a wider stream, we got people all over the country now watching. In New Jersey, you have a governor who is a Democrat, state assembly controlled by Democrats, Senate controlled by Democrats, 9 of the 12 Congress seats controlled by Democrats, both U.S. senators, the state Supreme Court, and the 15 largest cities all have mayors who are Democrats. And yet they like Mikey Sherrill's like, oh, I don't know why the energy problem exists. I'm going to fix it. You guys caused it. The eminent domain thing. It's just horrible that it happened. You guys caused it. So the idea that they're going to solve the problem that they caused is somewhat laughable. Moving forward, if you find out that somebody nearby, we got about 30 seconds, somebody in another town has this problem, you're going to step up and help them out too?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, this is not an isolated issue. And what's really concerning about this is we saw the feds, we saw the state step in. The town even violated the Open Public Meeting Act by shutting down a meeting when residents complained. What the result of that is now the town is turning around saying, we deserve credit. We're the ones that did this. We saved the farm after the state and feds told them, like, Mom and Dad, you can't do this. So we're going to help everyone.
Full of baloney. They are so full of baloney. Listen, I love you guys. You're welcome. Even after this, please come back again and again. I love you both. Andy Henry, co-owner and manager of the Henry Family Farm, former Cranberry Mayor, Jay Taylor. Congratulations. Thank you for coming on today.
Hey,
thank you.
Hey, thanks.
All right. We're going to be back in just a few. The continuing government shutdown, leaving workers without paychecks. We're going to talk all about what that could mean for your travel plans. Don't go away.
I'm Jack Chittarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
We vote to protect the Social Security we worked hard for. We vote because family caregivers deserve support. We vote to have a say in our future. For all the reasons why, AARP has information about when, where, and how to vote. Find the information you need to make your voice heard.
Bergen Equestrian in Leonia is the top destination for horse riding, lessons, and exceptional horse boarding facilities on over 23 acres in Overpeck Park. Bergen Equestrian has programs for people of all ages and skill sets, indoor and outdoor riding areas, and a riding lounge. Riders can compete in horse shows and special events. Bergen Equestrian offers horse boarding and rentals, seasonal kids camps, and more. Consider Bergen Equestrian for unforgettable memories with kids' birthday parties, private events, weddings, and school trips. Visit BergenEquestrian.com.
Had a very good point. That was a quick one, Pam. Geesh. Wow. Pam says, "We gave you the quick open." Okay. Yikes. I just got burned on that one. It's 8 a.m. Good morning, Monday, October 27th, 2025. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll take calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. Right now, by the way, my thermometer went down to 32. Now it's back up to 35, and we have 39 in Trenton, 39 also at Cape May. Meteorologist Mike Favetta, sunshine today, highs mid-50s. That sounds delicious for fall.
It feels lovely. It'll start off chilly this morning, but dry. And then when you're walking on the sunny side of the street this afternoon, you go, wow, this is nice, not so bad. And then you step into the shade and go, oh, this is what he was talking about. Yeah, it's chilly. 27 in Sussex right now, 28 in Morristown this morning, 37 in Toms River. It made it to 50 in Long Branch, but you have a little breeze coming in off of the water. So that's influencing your temperature there. 14 degrees cooler than this time yesterday on the green in Morristown. So plenty of clear sky today, helping us warm throughout the morning into the afternoon. Winds light right now, anywhere from 5 to 10, maybe up to 17 miles per hour. Not too much of a wind chill because those winds are light, but that will change by Wednesday, Thursday timeframe as winds get very gusty. Throughout this afternoon, expected to gust maybe to 15, 20 miles per hour. But by the end of the day tomorrow, yeah, look at those numbers. They go much higher with that northeasterly wind. This is our nor'easter developing, giving us those northeasterly winds and allowing for gusts up to 40 miles per hour on Wednesday night. There on LBI, could be gusting up to 50 miles per hour by Thursday during the peak of the storm. So very gusty winds forecast for later this week, as well as a lot of rainfall, 3 to 5 inches of rain expected throughout the day on Thursday. But we're dry until then. Enjoy the clear weather today, the calm breezes this afternoon, even throughout tomorrow. Nothing more than a few clouds and maybe a sprinkle down the shore south of the Atlantic City Expressway tomorrow evening. That's the initial phase of our nor'easter getting going, giving us those gusty winds, the high winds, and of course the heavy rains throughout the day Thursday. Now, the map will change every 12 hours here going into Thursday, but there will be some part of New Jersey that sees a stripe of heavy rain that will be up to 3 to 5 inches. We don't know where that'll happen just yet, but the potential is there given how much moisture is available. With temperatures warming into the 60s, we might even have some thunder and lightning by Thursday night. That's how potent of a system it will be. Important to note that it is not Hurricane Melissa. That system stays far out to sea, but we'll get the impacts from a different storm that gives us all of our wet weather throughout the day on Thursday. We'll let you know how long it clears out by the time the weekend arrives, and detail that weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Very good, sir. Thank you. 36 degrees down northern New Jersey, 39 in Trenton. And we have a crash to report on the New Jersey Turnpike. And it's the local lanes northbound in the vicinity of exit 72, which is Leonia by Route 46. All lanes are open, but there are vehicles off to the right shoulder causing folks to slow down. Crash on the Garden State, local lanes northbound north of exit 116 by the PNC Arts Center. We looked at the camera. Because the camera there is in the parking lot, you can't really see the crash and where that is. But nonetheless, it's causing a big slowdown through there with all lanes still open for the meantime. We'll see until they get the emergency crews there. We have a crash investigation and police activity on the New Jersey Turnpike inner roadway southbound north of interchange 8A down in South Brunswick. All lanes are blocked, and we have a water main break. Route 53, both directions at Route 46 in Denville. All lanes are currently closed there. Your Hudson River crossings, the Lincoln Tunnel is now reporting 35 minutes just due to volume. Holland is pretty good. It's about 25 minutes, and the GWB upper and lower levels, you can see, starting to move a little bit better than they were earlier. Your upper is on the right, lower on the left. We're told it's 35 to 40 minutes in. 8:04, and the ongoing government shutdown is leaving workers without paychecks. Among those workers, TSA officers and air traffic controllers. Well, how about that impact your travel plans? Eric Napoli is the chief legal officer at AirHelp, a global leader in air passenger rights. He's here today. Good morning to you, Eric. Good to have you on.
Good morning, Ken. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Well, how's the shutdown affecting airline operations right now? Is there a specific part of the country that's worse impacted, I should say, than others?
Well, I mean, so first of all, we have had a lot of weather, right? We've had weather we're seeing now up and down the East Coast, and that affects flights. And then we are seeing already say outside of DCA in Washington, we've seen the impact since the tragic accident in January, and now with the shutdown, um, there are lots of air traffic controllers and TSA guys who are calling in sick. So I don't think it's a specific area in the country, but we're seeing it felt everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Eric, we were talking months ago when we had our issues in Newark, here in our airport. We were talking about the crisis that we had already. I mean, these guys, they are severely short-staffed. They're working with ancient equipment. They get paid good money, but you know what? There's not enough money in the world to be working every day for 18 hours or 12 hours. And I mean, that is, I shouldn't say 18, but some of them are working double shift. They're working 12-hour shifts or whatever. And they forfeit vacation. They work on days off. These people, it's a grueling life. And again, this isn't just like, if they look away, they're pumping gas and the car driver will go away. They got thousands of lives in their hands. So this is essential and this is tough. And these workers, because they're essential, they're working without pay in many cases. So what kind of impact could that potentially have on safety?
Well, so I mean, there'll be there's impact on safety. Then generally, we've already seen the impact with Newark. We saw the impact in DCA. We have seen airlines have reported, at least at the beginning of the year, that the ticket sales were down because people had lost, confidence in traveling. I mean, traveling is already kind of nerve-wracking enough. You have all the long waits, you have the long lines, turbulence, all these other things. So the impact is huge. There's a huge group of air traffic controllers who are getting to the point of retirement. So there is something that needs to be done. We have seen the DOJ, in their defense, looking into kind of a technology upgrade, right? Because there are technologies out there to improve all aspects of, say, airport operations. One of which is air traffic control. But we saw in 2018, one of the things that stopped the shutdown was the risk to air traffic because we can't fly. The economy of every local economy is affected, and we have Thanksgiving coming up. So politics aside, does anybody think that we can reach Thanksgiving and not have flights?
No, no, you nailed it. You're 100% right. And we forget, you mentioned like the economy, the cargo, how much of our cargo is transported on giant jets? You see those big cargo flights, they tend to fly in the middle of the night, not to interrupt the daytime passengers and whatnot. This is essential and they got to get it right. And with AI, we use AI to write books. I'm sure AI can be properly programmed to help the air traffic controllers, or at least to monitor a bunch of flights to help take the burden off a lot of these air traffic controllers. I hope they figure it out and figure it out fast. And these people deserve their paychecks. So the stalemate in Washington is just unnecessary and ridiculous. Now, in terms of rights, passengers do have some legal rights here when it comes to delays or cancellations with the shutdown. So please talk about that, Eric.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the U.S. passengers don't have that many rights. If you're flying to and from Europe, the European laws do protect passengers if there's a flight that's delayed for 3 or more hours and it's the fault of the airline, then passengers are entitled to certain compensation. Fortunately, again, in the US, you're flying domestically. Your same airline, you're flying Paris to Newark, your same airline that will pay you, 600, $700, on a US flight, they just won't do it for you. So that's a shame. And hopefully the DOJ or Trump administration will say, well, let's treat passengers fairly, in the US like we do when they're flying abroad. But right now, what you can do, you can go to the DOJ website and you can see they have a dashboard and you can see what airlines offer, outside of the law, right? What they offer kind of contractually to passengers. Generally, airlines, I mean, just for their own interest, they don't want to have a huge backlog of flight cancellations and trying to fit, it's Tetrix, trying to fit passengers onto the next flight. So airlines will do their best try to get you on the next flight. I mean, this also is something outside of their control. So they're suffering just as you are. They want you to, you know, they want you home for Thanksgiving. So,
Mhm.
so you can check if a flight is canceled. You do now have, under new rules, you do now have a right for a refund. Or if the schedule's changed and that's, new schedule is going to be very, very different, then you do have a right to cash refund if you don't want to take that flight, you don't want to get a voucher. So
Interesting.
consider that yeah. So if that flight is no longer interesting for you, don't accept the voucher. Ask for your money.
Yeah, there are a lot of rules involved with vouchers, right? They tell you there are a lot of blackout dates. and you can't fly with this, and you can't fly. I mean, I was offered a voucher on one of the budget airlines once. They said, if, we overbooked, et cetera. If you'll take a voucher, we'll put you on the next flight, and you could use this voucher at any time. And somebody said, "Don't take it." And they said, "There's so many restrictions on it, it's not worth the paper it's printed on." So yeah, I the cash idea is definitely better. Cash in hand, cash is king, right? Well,
Definitely.
until the shutdown ends, Eric, what steps should travelers take before they fly? Should they make sure they get travel insurance, or what should they do?
Well, you can get travel insurance. I mean, that's an option. I mean, one thing I would do is, avoid connecting flights, right? Avoid, having flights that have lots of connections because that's most likely where you have the issues. Prepare, arrive early, take the first flight. It's like the dentist. Your
Mhm.
first appointment's the one that's not going to be delayed. And then just, recognize it's not anybody's fault. Complain to people in Washington, but don't complain, to the desk agent. There's nothing that they can do. So go with a lot of patience and just be ready. Just be ready.
Yeah, you know what always works, Eric, I find? Always, always. Say these words to somebody when you got 500 people behind you. "Do you know who I am?"
Exactly, exactly.
If you wanna make them chuckle, just try that. Now, you know what? You're right, and by the way, if you just hack that attitude back here, you treat these people working at the gates, they make 80,000, 70,000. They're struggling, they're working, they gotta feed families. Treat them with respect. If you just this much kindness goes very far. It's all about respect. Am I wrong?
You're 100% correct.
That's it. They're it's not that person's fault that the flight is canceled. So no matter how much you want to take it out on them. So we definitely need you back on, especially if the government remains shut down. What's a website for more information, please?
So come to airhelp.com. We can give you lots of information about what your rights are. If you do have a delayed flight, we'll help you out to see if you can get some money from the airline, or
Airhelp
figure out how
dot
to
com.
rebook. Airhelp.com.
Awesome. Airhelp.com, airhelp.com. Eric Napoli, Chief Legal Officer at AirHelp. We appreciate you coming on. I know you're busy, and we thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. We're here to help.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It is 40 degrees right now, and we're going to have a conversation about menopause, a natural part of every woman's life, but society still treats it like a secret. We'll talk with a woman working to change all that. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. Back in a moment.
I'm Jack Chitterelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
We vote to protect the Social Security we worked hard for. We vote because family caregivers deserve support. We vote to have a say in our future. For all the reasons why, AARP has information about when, where, and how to vote. Find the information you need to make your voice heard.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15. Yes, it is. In fact, I thought it was earlier than that. I don't know why. We are taking calls at 888-658-0234. Lots of sunshine today. Highs mid-50s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a detailed Garden State forecast. This sort of defines the perfect crisp fall day, doesn't it, Mike?
It really does. Yeah, you've got the leaves on the trees changing color, a little bit of a frost across some parts of New Jersey, some frozen spots with a freeze warning in effect up there in western Passaic County. So the growing season has ended for you in that shade of purple. That ends it at 9 a.m. But I think throughout the rest of the state, we'll see the temperature slowly warm back into the 50s, where it's going to be a little bit of a cooler feel this afternoon. Certainly the case there in New Brunswick and Matawan, where temperatures reach the upper 50s, about 5-6 degrees below our average, 57 in Toms River and 58 back toward Freehold. So with all the sunshine today, it'll feel pleasant when you're standing in the sun. But once you step into the shade, it's going to feel really chilly with that dry air. The high pressure doing a great job of keeping our skies clear. Look just off to our south. A lot of rain and cloud cover. This is the precursor to our nor'easter that gets going and develops offshore and gives us some very gusty winds throughout the day Wednesday. Some heavy rain and wind on Thursday, all culminating with some more winds by Friday. So a couple days there of very unpleasant weather. But until that point, it'll be dry. Temperatures slowly rise, as do the dew points. So you'll notice the humidity return, especially if you find yourself down the shore by the middle of this week. This all clears out by Saturday. Saturday looks beautiful. It is the gorgeous first half of the weekend. By Sunday, could be a few clouds around, maybe a passing sprinkle, like a nuisance sprinkle. Not too worried about it. And then into Monday and Tuesday, some more rain works its way through as that cooler weather takes over. So this weekend starts off dry and sunny. Temperatures climb to 57 degrees. Could be some more clouds by Sunday, maybe a sprinkle, but overall a very pleasant start to the weekend and pretty decent finish as well. So overall, not doing too terrible for this weekend. Our first weekend in November, Ken.
November. It's a very cold. It's a chilly weekend, but there you go. This is what happens. So you know what? I just, again, for those of us who do not like the cold weather, and when I used to weigh 360 pounds, I loved the cold weather because I always felt hot. Now I walk around like a little old lady, a shivering. Where's my shawl, for God's sake? Somebody get me my shawl, and where's my pell mell, for God's sake?
Oh boy.
That's my alter ego. That's misconception. That's my stripper name. Anyway, but nonetheless, I better stop it right now. I can see our executive producer Joe right now saying, "What is he saying?" All right, thank you so much, Mike. We'll check back. Yes, I'm going to do the rest of the show like this. 32 degrees right now in northern New Jersey. It is 39 degrees in Trenton. So there's a big disparity in temperature depending on where you are in the state. It's 40 degrees now down in Vineland. 8:18 is our time. In terms of traffic, we have a crash on the Turnpike Eastern Spur northbound south of interchange 15E, which is 1 and 9 in Newark. All lanes open. Everybody's off to the right shoulder, though, causing rubbernecking. And a crash on the Turnpike local lanes up by exit 72, which is Route 46, Leonia. All lanes open. Again, everybody on the right shoulder. We have a crash investigation. Police department activity on the Turnpike Inner Roadway southbound north of interchange 8A, Route 32 South Brunswick, and a water main break, Route 53 in both directions at Route 46, and that is in Denville. In fact, let me give it to you live on the air if I can. If you go to I-280 at 21, I-280 at 21, Pam, if you could find it, let me know, please. I-280 at 21, you will see a bumper-to-bumper mess right now. If we could bring that up. Let's see if we have. There it is. Thank you. I appreciate you, Pam. So you're looking at the westbound traffic there. You can see everybody. I-80 at 21. This is an absolute mess, bumper-to-bumper traffic. And this is going to be there for quite a while. You can just see. And this is simply volume, but this usually goes down till about 9:15 in the morning, almost every day, but especially when you have bright sun there. Your Hudson River crossings. The Lincoln Tunnel is reporting 35 minutes. Holland is only 25. That's your better bet. The GWB upper and lower levels not looking so great. Take a look at that. Your upper level is on the right, lower on the left. Upper is definitely a little better than the lower, but you got 35 minutes on the upper, 40 into Manhattan on the lower. 8:20 is our time. Menopause is a natural part of life. But for too long, it's been wrapped in stigma and silence and confusion. Not Your Mother's Menopause is a group that wants to change that. It was founded by three women in Maplewood, South Orange, to offer strong resources and a community for women navigating this time of life. It's part of nature. Their second annual event, a full day symposium, is coming up in January. It's drawing national attention, and rightfully so. The co founder of Not Your Mother's Menopause is Allison Kalshed, and she joins us this morning. Good morning, Allison. Good to have you on.
Good morning, Ken. Thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to be here and not in
Good to have
traffic.
you. Yes, amen to that. I remember growing up, and I remember the show All in the Family, which was so
Mhm.
inappropriate for so many reasons. But I remember whenever Edith Bunker would talk about menopause, it was she's going through the change.
Yeah.
It was whispered. It's so ridiculous. It is as natural as getting a wrinkle or a gray hair. It is part of life. First off, where did this whole whisper, let's not talk about it publicly, come from? What's that about?
Well, I mean, I think that there's always been, I mean, this is a long discussion to have about the shame that has existed around women's bodies or the secrecy that has existed around women's bodies for many years. I mean, growing up, women don't, girls don't talk about getting their period, or it's something that we don't talk about regularly. I mean, this is definitely starting to change. I notice it with younger women. And the same thing is true for menopause. And I do think there's also a feeling amongst women of older generations, especially, where we just have to kind of silently suffer through all the challenges of life, whether it's giving birth or whether it's the challenges of being a mother, and then the challenges that may come with menopause. But this generation, my generation, seems to have said, we're not we're not just going to sit around and silently suffer anymore. We want to talk about it, and to talk about some of the um, inequities that have happened in the medical, in medical research that have happened around women's bodies and how to help women through menopause.
Allison, I have said for the longest time, if men went through menopause, and
Oh.
by the way, it would be called womenopause if men went through menopause, because it seems that menopause for women is named menopause. If men went through it, this is what you would hear on every TV show. Oh, I'm going, I got a hot flash. It would never, because look, we get a sniffle and we're like, I'm dying. Women, they'll be nursing babies, working full time from home with the and fixing and changing the oil on the car while going through
Well,
menopause and not complain. But it's the truth. You're laughing because it's true. We listen. There are a few of us more sensitive men who get it. Most don't.
yeah.
They're just
Well,
like,
thank you.
eh. No, it's but I saw it in my own family, and it's disgusting. I hate the fact that society has done this to women. You're 50.5% of the population. Stand up. I'm glad you are.
Yeah.
Now, your approach is different from traditional conversations, and I love that. Talk about how your approach is different.
Sure. In 2023, I got together with two other women in my community, and I live in Maplewood. I've lived in Maplewood. Actually, I literally just moved to South Orange. So now I live in both, but I've lived in this area for 21 years. And I got together with two of my friends from the neighborhood. I work as a women's fitness specialist. I'm a personal trainer for women. So I'm surrounded by women going through all different stages of life. And my partners and I in this project, April McKenzie and Stacy Torriello, also all saw their friends and colleagues and clients of theirs going through this change of life with very few answers and very few resources, from books to doctors who would be open to discussing sort of what was going on in a holistic manner. And we came together and decided to host a conversation for our friends and neighbors and the women in our community. And I keep saying last year, but it actually wasn't. In January, we put on our first event. And we are, the conversation about menopause in the last few years has really exploded, especially if you're a woman. You notice it on your social media. If you're a woman in your 40s and your 50s, you can't get away from it. And that's wonderful. It's amazing that the conversation is out there and that we're able to talk about these things more openly, just like you said. Um,
I,
but one of the things that we thought was lacking was the ability to take that information and then act on it. So, how do I take all this information in my community and then find a doctor or find resources for myself, or to help me through this stage. So we wanted to bring that conversation to make it actionable. So what we did was we put an event together. We originally had thought that it was going to be a small, conference room lunch and learn type of thing, and it grew into this huge event where we had national and nationally known experts in the field paired with regional experts and even very local experts to talk about all the phases of menopause, all the treatments that you can get, what's good, what's bad, what's been misconstrued over so many years. We had 250 people at the Maplewood Country Club last January, 2025, and we're doing it again January 11th, 2025, where we're bringing together national, regional, and local experts to help women in the area forge a path through menopause and provide them with actionable resources.
Well, you got 165 million female humans in the United States. So I would think just about every single one of them should have some interest in this, and rightfully so, and probably a handful of men too. So
I
this
hope
is your,
so.
yes, at least a handful. And I know that OBGYNs are like hard to find, right? Because of the litigiousness and everything else. They're very increasingly difficult to find. So I'm sure that that's got to be a topic you're talking about. So let's talk. The upcoming symposium is in January again of this year, right? And why is a space like
Correct.
this so very important? We have about a minute and a half left, so I want to just give you a heads up on that.
Like I said, so it's January 11th, 2025 at the Maplewood Country Club. And we feel that our event is the way we're approaching it, and the way it's been put together. This is a real grassroots community organized event. We're not celebrities. We're not billionaires. We're not owners of large corporations. We're entrepreneurs and marketing executives who have put together this event. And this event will help you become clear on the information, because there is so much information. Sometimes it's really hard to figure out which track you should
Allison,
listen to.
I gotta cut you shy only because we have a hard break we're coming up on. Just quickly, I need your website because we only got about 10 seconds.
The website is notyourmothersmenopausenj.com.
NotYourMothersMenopauseNJ.com. It's Not Your Mother's Menopause Symposium and Brunch, Sunday, January 11th, 2026, Maplewood Country Club. Co-founder Allison Kalshed, thank you for coming on this morning. Sorry about the short time.
It's okay. Thank you, Ken.
All right. When we come back, the Brits and other Europeans on board with digital ID. Do not go away. We'll be talking with Fisher.
I'm Jack Chittarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
We vote to protect the Social Security we worked hard for. We vote because family caregivers deserve support. We vote to have a say in our future. For all the reasons why, AARP has information about when, where, and how to vote. Find the information you need to make your voice heard.
And a very good morning to you. Monday, October 27th, 2025, 34 degrees in northern New Jersey, 40 in Trenton. And this is Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Listen to the good folks there at AARP. You just saw. Make sure you vote. Early voting is on in New Jersey now. So if you haven't done so, why? Get voting. The earlier, the better. I like to wait till election day. Don't. You can now early vote. Get it done. Go and vote. Sunshine today, highs in the mid 50s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a top to bottom Garden State forecast. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, Ken. Yeah, we start off in New Jersey with lots of sunshine. It is clear, but it is crisp. There is a chill in the air, kind of that see your breath weather, especially with the very chilly, clear air in place. And we're dry at the moment, nothing more than a little rogue shower out to sea. So we'll stay clear through this afternoon. Sunshine abounds across all of New Jersey, especially down south, where your highs today go all the way to 60 in Cape May, 61 in Avalon, 59 up toward Egg Harbor City. And with all of that lovely weather this afternoon, we're running just a few degrees below average statewide, especially in the northern half of the state where your highs only reach the mid 50s. With all the sunshine today, it'll feel lovely standing in the sun. Once you're in the shade, there's definitely that chill in the air, but it is still peak of hurricane season as Hurricane Melissa, now a raging Cat 5 in the Caribbean basin, with 160-mile-per-hour winds working its way to the north over Jamaica and then over the eastern half of Cuba, delivering 2 feet of rain across some of those mountainous areas. So really a big issue for not only mudslides, but in addition to that, of course, gusty winds, prolonged duration gusty winds, because of the very slow forward moving nature of the storm. With the clear sky today, temperatures warm into the mid 50s. We're cool down tonight with light winds back into the upper 30s and low 40s, and then with a little bit of a rain chance down the shore south of Atlantic City tomorrow. This is in advance of our nor'easter on Thursday, so a little bit of that wet weather gets going. We see clouds across New Jersey throughout the day on Wednesday. Temperatures slowly rise into the 60s, but you're not going to worry about the temperatures. It's the gusty winds up to 50 miles per hour on Thursday that will take the headlines. The beach erosion, the coastal erosion, obviously, with the rough surf, and then, of course, the 3 to 5 inches of rain somewhere in New Jersey as that heavy rain gets going throughout the day Thursday. So there's the nor'easter swinging on through, giving us all of our wet weather, clearing by Friday. So Halloween is okay for the trick-or-treaters. They just got to be jumping over some pretty big puddles where it rains the hardest. Now, by Saturday and Sunday, we see the clearing continue with lighter breezes on Saturday. Sunday, however, could have a little bit of cloud cover, maybe some showers by the afternoon. It's kind of the cooler, wetter forecast for the end of the weekend. But again, it's the shore points that'll take the heaviest hit of the wind and the rain, specifically on Thursday. Look at that temperature warming to 65. There might be some thunder and lightning with this storm as it comes on through, and then it cools back down and clears out with calmer weather, Ken, by this weekend.
All right, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. Calmer is better. 35 degrees right now, northern New Jersey. We have 40 in Trenton. In terms of traffic, a lot of stuff happening right now. Let's take a look at the New Jersey Turnpike, Hudson County Extension, eastbound, entering at interchange 14, I-78 in Newark. Right there, that's where you got a mess. And that is because of one of the toll lanes blocked, and that's causing that delay that you see right in front of you. We have another issue on the New Jersey Turnpike, I-95, local lanes northbound in the area of exit 72, Route 46, Leonia. All lanes are open, but we have vehicles on the right shoulder. And a crash investigation on the New Jersey Turnpike, inner roadway southbound north of interchange 8A, South Brunswick, all lanes blocked. Water main break, Route 53, both directions, Route 46 in Denville. All lanes are closed there. And we have issues now on Route 130 with a crash northbound at Union Avenue, Pennsauken Township. The right lane and right shoulder are closed. We did have another issue we thought on the Garden State. That just went away, so maybe it just got cleared up. Hudson River crossings. Lincoln Tunnel is reporting 35 minutes. Holland Tunnel is 25 to 30. GWB upper and lower levels. Look at that. That's a mess. That's the lower level there. Don't know if there's an incident on the roadway, but it sure looks like there might be. So the lower level now very heavy. We're told 40 minutes. It might even be longer than that to get over. The upper level reporting 35 to 40. 8:35 is our time. And, you know, the Brits and other Europeans are on board the digital ID ship. It would put everything you need to identify yourself with on your phone. Is this Big Brother run amok? Well, now to be fair, this is not the same thing as the digital driver's license concept that we have here in New Jersey, looking at implementing here. But if the big old Big Brother thing catches on in Europe, could it just be a matter of time before it makes its way to the US? Brand and digital strategist Fisher, who could be found on X and Threads with username @Fisher and through his website, fisher.media, joins us now with more. Good morning, dear Fisher.
Good morning, Ken. Let me reset. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, so let me reset a little bit as to exactly what this is. So Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced plans for a mandatory digital ID system by 2029 to combat illegal working and deter migrants from entering the United Kingdom. The digital ID is supposed to serve as proof of the right to work, aiming to make illegal immigration more difficult by automating information collection and enforcement, right? The digital ID is planned to be smartphone-based with no requirement to carry or produce it physically. Now, rumors have been lately that you could be fined up to 89 pounds, which is approximately 118 US dollars for not having a digital ID. In fact, public petition opposing the plan has garnered 3 million signatures, highlighting widespread public resistance. Proponents say benefits include streamlined processes for everyday tasks such as applying to universities, buying houses, renting properties, opening bank accounts, and Prime Minister Starmer also highlighted potential reductions in banking fraud, as digital IDs would make it harder for criminals to use forged documents. Now, having one ID across multiple login instances where you now have multiple and different logins can cause security issues. You have currently, if you live in the United States, you have a login for your bank, for the DMV, for, to pay your rent, all of that stuff. This would make it under one identification, one way to verify yourself. In that photo that Pam just showed, this one, you might not be able to see it, but this is a picture of a sandwich that you can get at a shop, and I'm just looking down at it. On the top right, you see a circle. It's right next to that kind of black marking on the right-hand side. That is your carbon footprint for food. So it's saying, I think that's 8.1%. So it's kind of like your daily allowance of calories and cholesterol and all that stuff that's on the back of all our foods, right? It's daily recommended allowance, right? You can eat whatever you want, but it's saying, like, if you really want to gain weight, eat 10 of these and you'll be all set, right? So having your carbon footprint on your food, does this tie into your digital ID at some point? That's not their plan. But why would you put it on there? So that's 8.1% of my daily recommended carbon footprint. If I have a steak and that's 99.9% or whatever their requirements are, does that then put me over and I can't go to McDonald's, I can't go to Starbucks, I can't go grocery shopping? How does, where does this stop? So there's a lot of questions about this. And again, you mentioned it, I've mentioned it a million times. This is not what the New Jersey governor signed in June about having your driver's license on your phone. That is simply your driver's license on your phone. It's an easy way in case you forgot your physical driver's license, and we have the video from the TSA that you can pop up, Pam, if you want, to show. And I use my driver's license from Georgia all the time at the TSA at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Like it says, you just show your ID, you tap it on the screen, and it only gives the information that you're supposed to give to the TSA. Your picture, your date, your date of birth, your name, they get a little more information. But if you go to an establishment where you have to be over 21, you just tap it, they see your picture, they see that you're over 21, and they don't get your address or your any other personal information. So that's what New Jersey is going to be introducing, is a digital driver's license that is not this digital ID that is over in UK. But we do have to kind of keep an eye on this and how this goes forward in the UK, in Europe, Australia, places like that are looking at it. But it is definitely concerning, to say the least.
Yeah, all you need is somebody a little tyrannical and controlling. I mean, look at, not for anything,
New York City.
Bloomberg. Yeah, Bloomberg wanted, exactly. We got Mamdani, it looks like, heading in. But Bloomberg wanted to outlaw large sodas. Now, yes, are they bad for you? 100%. There's lots of stuff that's, hey, listen, smoking pot we now know is very bad for you, but they legalized that. That seems fine. Let people walk around stoned with the streets stinking like armpits. That's just fine. But when it comes to something like this, all you need is somebody who's controlling to come in and say, nope, we're going to get people in shape. We're going to control what you eat. And as you said, now they can hack you with one. We have identity theft in this country that's run amok. Imagine all your identity being gone. You have
Yes.
no secondary identification, nothing. You don't have that like an ID card or a passport separate from your driver's license. It's all one. Big
In China,
brother.
they
You
also
don't need
use
it.
social scores, and I'm sure you've
Yes,
heard that before and you've
if
talked
you
about it.
jaywalk,
Yeah.
if you jaywalk in China, you get a demerit point, and the cameras by the traffic lights catch you doing it, and
And
then you
what makes
can't
it
get on a
easier?
plane.
Having a digital ID. Yeah. And so this is just going down the tubes in the UK. But again, they're going to have public, they have over 3 million people signing a petition. And I think in their parliament, you have to have 100,000 before they'll take it up. So clearly, this will be debated in parliament and in the government for the UK. So we'll see where this goes.
I hope so because it's a slippery slope and it slides fast. And, your freedoms are that close to being taken away. And remember, in this country, your freedoms, they're God given rights. It sounds like a phrase, it's in the Constitution. Inalienable God given rights. Okay. People, this is not supposed to be something the government has access. Government does not grant us rights. The Constitution, under God, grants us rights in this country. The government's trying to take them away. Don't let it happen. Got about a minute left here. What's going on with AI? Because I asked AI to edit a story. I asked for that for a story, and it said that Merrick Garland is the current attorney general. That
Yes.
yesterday it said that,
Yeah, you have
and
to
it, and
keep.
it says, yeah. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
was just going to say that you have to keep in mind that when you use AI for something, it's sourcing information. It might be from 1 or 2 places, it might be from 30, but it depends on where the sources of that information came from. So if it's far left, if it's far right, whatever the case is, so you have to double check. You can't just feed something or ask a question and say, cool, I got the answer. AI may be wrong, and in a lot of cases, it is. So always verify when you're using AI that double check the article that it came from, that you fed into it, double check the math, all of it. I mean, you really have
Yeah.
to, you can't just feed AI and just assume that whatever comes out is correct.
I mean, last week it told me that President Trump was never elected president, and we just had an I think it was ChatGPT, saying that a 16-year-old kid in California, it coached him into suicide, and he did
Hmm.
sadly commit suicide. This stuff has got to be controlled better. Brandon digital strategist Fisher found on X and Threads with username @Fisher and at Fisher.media. Thank you, sir, for coming on this morning.
Thanks, Ken.
All right. When we come back with the shortage of housing in New Jersey, welcome accessory dwelling units or ADUs. What are ADUs? We will explain. Mostly sunny today, highs mid 50s, and we'll take calls at 888-658-0234.
I'm Jack Chitterelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
Bergen Equestrian in Leonia is the top destination for horse riding, lessons, and exceptional horse boarding facilities on over 23 acres in Overpeck Park. Bergen Equestrian has programs for people of all ages and skill sets, indoor and outdoor riding areas, and a riding lounge. Riders can compete in horse shows and special events. Bergen Equestrian offers horse boarding and rentals, seasonal kids camps, and more. Consider Bergen Equestrian for unforgettable memories with kids' birthday parties, private events, weddings, and school trips. Visit bergenequestrian.com.
We vote to protect the Social Security we worked hard for. We vote because family caregivers deserve support. We vote to have a say in our future. For all the reasons why, AARP has information about when, where, and how to vote. Find the information you need to make your voice heard.
Countdown to Election Day, presented by AARP New Jersey. Visit aarp.org/NJ votes.
And welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. 8:45 is our time, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Mostly sunny today, highs mid-50s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the top to bottom final garden state forecast of the morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ken. Even though we had a little bit of wet weather a few days ago, our drought continues, especially with the severe drought in northern New Jersey, that shade of orange. Moderate drought through the rest of the state, north and west of the Turnpike, and down the shore above average rainfall, which will also be the case again with the additional rain that we receive thanks to the nor'easter on Thursday. While it'll fall statewide, a lot of it's concentrated at the shore. Have 40% of average rainfall in Morristown over the last 30 days. That amounts to a 1 to 2 inch deficit. Right, you see that stripe there going down through the western side of the state there in red. Our forecast remains dry today, but there's a lot of rain coming for Wednesday night into Thursday, and then again Thursday night into Friday with this nor'easter, a very complex system that will deliver milder weather before it turns cooler again into the first weekend in November. That's this weekend, where we gain the hour of sleep. It's just that the sun sets now just after 4:30. So bringing back the higher chances of rain even through the first week of November. That's some good news given how we've been so dry. We just don't want to see all the rain happen at once, which is likely going to be the case on Thursday. You can see it with the 7-day forecast, dry through Wednesday, northern half of the state, and then there's our rain for Thursday, ending by Friday morning. I think trick-or-treating should be dry, just very breezy with the remnants of that northwesterly wind as the nor'easter pulls away, and then the weekend starts off sunny but likely ends with some extra clouds. Most of this rain and most of the impacts of the nor'easter will be felt at the shore, with not only the coastal erosion and the flooding at the beaches, but with the heaviest of the rain, even some thunder and lightning possible on Thursday. It's a big system pulling away by Friday. I think the weekend looks pretty decent with mostly sunny skies on Saturday, calmer winds, and then Sunday, very pleasant. So pretty great weather ahead when you look forward to this weekend. It's the middle of the weekend. It gets quite messy, but great news for the trick-or-treaters, because I know, we tend to have this thing in New Jersey where so many Halloweens have had to be either delayed or canceled just due to some big storms that come through, because this is nor'easter season, and I think we're timing it out just right that all the bad weather clears out just in time for Friday afternoon.
It's funny. I mentioned in Sag Harbor yesterday, and they had a giant farm. Sag Harbor has tons of pumpkin picking sites. In fact, I was told by a local official, a man who owns a jewelry store in Sag, and he said, we people who live here locally know that in the month of October, just the traffic on the weekends is impossible because of the pumpkin heads. I said, what do you mean the pumpkin heads?
Right.
The people who come out here with the kids to go pumpkin picking.
Mhm.
And I said, in New Jersey, there's a farm right near me, and they just buy the pumpkins and lay them out on the field. And he started laughing. I said, why are you laughing? He said, because we buy the pumpkins from New Jersey and put them out in the field here. I said, shut up.
Oh my
Is there
goodness.
anyone who still grows apparently down in Florida, they grow their pumpkins. I'm tired of this. Grow your own
I can't
pumpkins.
believe it. Mhm.
Pam says they do in Vernon. All right. Sarah, I'll let
Maybe
you
it's
have
an
your day.
insurance hazard, like
Yes.
tripping over the vines, I'm sure there's some reason.
You're sure. Take their side always, Mike. Always. All right, buddy. We'll check back with you. Thank you. As
See
always,
you
have a
tomorrow.
wonderful day. You bet.
You too.
38 degrees northern New Jersey, 40 in Trenton, 40 in Cape May right now. And we take a look at traffic. We have a crash on the New Jersey Turnpike, outer roadway southbound, south of interchange 10 by 287 Edison Township. All lanes open, but you can see the mess it's causing right there. We have a crash on Route 29 northbound, north of 129 in Trenton with the right shoulder closed, or I should say Trenton, as we would say locally. A crash on Route 130 northbound by Union Avenue, Pennsauken Township with the right lane and right shoulder closed. Back to the Turnpike, we have on the Hudson County extension eastbound entering interchange 14, I-78 Newark, a toll lane blocked. And we have a crash investigation now, police department activity on the Turnpike inner roadway southbound north of 8A. Let's see what else we have. A water main break Route 53, both directions by Route 46 in Denville. And our Hudson River crossings on the Lincoln Tunnel, 35 minutes. The Harlem, rather. Harlem. I'm thinking of the Harlem and New Haven lines on the trains. The Holland tunnel has a 20 to 25-minute crossover time on the GWB upper and lower levels, 8095 approach. That's the lower level there on the right. And that is heavy. We're told us about a 40-minute crossover time. 8:50 is our time. With housing costs rising and affordable options in short supply, more communities across New Jersey are exploring some very creative solutions, including something called an accessory dwelling unit, or an ADU. Now, an ADU is a small independent residence that's built on the same property as a main home. So think, a backyard cottage or a converted garage. You have an acre of land, you get a permit, you build a small cottage in your backyard, but it's separate from you. It may not be a relative. So Anne Lapel has been deeply involved in ADU advocacy and implementation, working on projects aimed at expanding access to this kind of housing. She knows all about how ADUs can help with our housing crunch, and we welcome Anne. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. This is brilliant. Brilliant, because you afford an opportunity, I'm guessing, for people to make a few extra dollars, right? We have a housing crunch. If you're retired or a young person, one or the other, and you are looking for just a place to lay your head, this is the perfect combination. So talk about how the ADU is now becoming so popular here in New Jersey.
Well, they're becoming popular, but unfortunately, they can't be built in a lot of communities. There are
Oh.
zoning laws which actually prevent it. But let's talk about a success. In Montclair in 2023, we passed the first ordinance to allow an ADU. And the benefits of it are that a homeowner can become his own landlord, can set the terms for the person who lives in the ADU, or in the case of seniors, the ADU will be barrier free if it's built with that in mind. The senior can move into the ADU, get the rent, and help to offset the property costs that they use, and then they use the big house for renting. So it's a win-win from that perspective, given that New Jersey has the highest property taxes in the nation. There are several other advantages, especially for older adults. We call them modern agers, by the way, because we have lived longer than our previous generation, and we've got lots of things we want to do in our third act. So what the ADU allows is for, as I said, barrier-free, but also for setting terms with the person who's renting. And you can actually barter for services. So you need somebody who's going to help with the snow? Well, you cut a little bit off the rent. You need somebody who's going to help with bringing the garbage to the curb? You cut a little off the rent. You need somebody who's going to give you a car ride? You cut a little off the rent. And in many ways, it can make the idea of aging in place easier.
Yeah, and you have it's like having family there after a while. Once you get close to the person, you become, close. And by the way, this is also a great idea if you do have family. I mean, this is perfect for the in-laws or the parents aging. I have this situation right now. My parents have they're downsizing for the second time and into something like going into a rental now. They're 87 and 95. So, this is that time, and it's hard to find stuff. They're in Westchester County, New York. It's very, very hard to find something. They luckily found something with a friend. But this seems the perfect opportunity, but I could also see communities being reticent because they're worried about people subdividing and, turning their property into stuff. You do have zoning laws, so I get it. But Montclair tends to do stuff that works out because people get the spirit of it in Montclair. It's not meant for you to be the big time land magnate, right? So talk about your experience with ADUs personally, and what are some of the challenges that homeowners face trying to build or get a permit? Like, what's the first step if you're thinking about doing this in your community?
The first step is you have to apply for a permit, and your planning department will have to actually look at the land that's being considered for an ADU. There are different kinds of ADUs. As you said, there's the garage conversion, there's the separate development of a house that has to be on your lawn somewhere, usually in the backyard. And in Montclair especially, there's a concern about permeability because we've had a number of heavy rains, as we're expecting at the end of the week. And these rains have caused some unexpected and unanticipated flooding. So the permeability of the backyard and how the ADU is set on that property is one of the major concerns. But from the olden days, there's one other concern which causes a bit of consternation, which is eyesight to your neighbor. The privacy of the neighbor is extremely important. And when the ADU ordinance was first passed, the line of sight was so restrictive that people actually couldn't build something that would accommodate, for example, a senior who was relocating from something larger and downsizing. In 2025, Montclair passed a modification to that ordinance, and now you can build an 800 square foot ADU, which from our surveys is the sweet spot in how many square feet you need to downsize. And you can actually have a little bit higher roof so that you can protect the privacy of your neighbor with fenestration and other kinds of coverage, and you don't have to worry about living in something with a low roof.
Yeah, for those who don't know Latin, fenestration is windows. That was my first day of Latin class at high school. Finestra, the window. So we have about a minute and a half left. What should what is a website? First of all, I want to make sure that people have a website because they're going to need all the help they can get if they want to look into this.
Okay, our website has a whole section on it. It's www.montclairgateway-to-aginginplace.com. And the whole process is outlined there, including some illustrations from the design competition that we sponsored with the AARP Community Challenge Grant. That was a wonderful addition to the process because we wanted to go from NIMBYism to YIMBYism. And when people came to the library and actually saw the designs that these young contestants created for the ADU, they were blown away by the beauty and also the practicality of it. Then, of course, the other possibility is that we had these designs sent down
And
to
I don't mean to
Trenton.
interrupt. And the show is actually wrapping up right now. I don't mean to interrupt you, but we're out of time for the day. But we got that website on. She knows all about ADUs and how they could solve our housing crisis for older adults. And LaPel, thank you so much for coming on this morning. Have a great day. And you're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We'll catch you again tomorrow at 7.